life and legacy of O.J. Simpson complicated, to say the least.
His rise to fame as a football star, then a Hollywood icon, took a shocking turn which haunted O.J. for the rest of his life. Joining us this morning is entertainment journalist Nelson Aspen, who crossed paths with O.J. quite a bit and had close ties with the late Nicole Brown Simpson. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. In the commercial break and during weather, we were talking about your connection. Please tell us more about the connection.
Well, if you go back to the 90s when I was living in Los Angeles, the famous Mezzaluna restaurant where this whole soap opera really played out around the corner from Nicole's condo where she was butchered. I was the maitre d' at the hotel, at the restaurant. And my cousin, who was romantically involved with the divorced Nicole Brown Simpson, was the manager of the restaurant. So we were all very socially connected, professionally connected. It was a world before the internet. So celebrity meant something different then. And O.J. Simpson, for as erratic and intimidating as he was, and he definitely was, he was also a charming star. And his star power is what enabled him to behave the way he behaved. And I believe, ultimately, it's what got him acquitted.
And your belief is that your cousin was the intended target,
I believe that because, do you remember when the If I Did It book came out, where O.J. provided a ghostwriter, provided a hypothetical scenario for the murders? Yeah, I mean, we all were worried about that. When that Bronco chase was going on, it was like, hey, run for cover, he's coming. We didn't know where he was going. So it was a very sad time. He ultimately paid his price when he went to prison for other charges years later. But I think the real legacy of O.J. Simpson is that if you're famous enough and charming enough, you can get away with anything.
Well, you think about it, right? Because the impression of O.J. really shifted after 1994, right? But before that, you're kind of alluding to what he was. He was idolized, not only because of the football, but because then commercials,
he had it all. Men loved him, women loved him. He was charming, he was sexy, he had great talent and personality, an award-winning athlete and a charmer. That is undoubted.
So how did that all change? How did you see it change?
Well, I mean, I knew from just personal interaction, he was a scary figure when he would come into the restaurant. He had a reputation among those who knew him.
But
the
did
famous
the world
911
know that, right?
call. The world didn't know that. You forget, we didn't have the internet then. we had People magazine, but we didn't have the internet.
Wow.
As an entertainment journalist, what do you think about this entanglement with Kris Jenner and Caitlyn Jenner's reaction saying, "Good riddance"? What a tweet.
Yeah, well, it's very easy now to throw O.J. under the bus. A lot of those celebrities didn't previously because they were afraid for their own reputations and fame and profiles and all of that. But yeah, O.J. was very connected with the Brentwood community. His defense lawyer, one of his dream team, was Robert Kardashian. You know, that was the first time we ever heard the Kardashian name.
Right. Do you believe he had an affair with Kris Jenner?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. We'll say that. I don't know. Everybody denied it, but it wouldn't surprise me.
You know, as soon as the breaking news came on yesterday when he got news of that he died, obviously everybody kind of zeroes into the two things. He was a star, and then there was a downfall, and then there was a jail time because of the Las Vegas incident. How do you think he'll be remembered overall? When you look at the tributes that are coming in on social media and so forth, they're very mixed. Either people still loved him today, despite everything, or hated him.
It's the power of fame, I think. We see this in our political process. You're either a saint or a sinner, depending on which side of the fence you're on, and O.J. is very much a parallel to that.
Do you find it surprising that even the younger generation, who probably doesn't remember watching that chase, that slow chase on live TV, now watches it in like this remake of, you know, fanfare and people talking about the trial and through the Kardashians? Does that surprise you?
No, because it's history. Those of us that remember it as real, we don't think of it as history, but now with the hindsight of time, it certainly is. It's also the history of television. Back then, you had 20 soap operas on the air every day. We were busy watching One Life to Live and All My Children and you name it. Those shows are gone now because O.J., the trial, changed the way we watch television. For 9 months, everything was switched to the trial. 5 days a week, all day long, and if it wasn't the trial, it was commentary about the trial. So after all that time, people's viewing habits changed. Forget COVID, O.J. changed daytime television.
Changed many things. Changed high-speed chase or a low-speed chase in this case.
DNA evidence is different now.
I mean, everything from and they called it the trial of the century. It really, I mean, people said after that there were other big trials that it was nothing like this one that people were so focused on. TV channels about court were born from that very case.
Well, we had no other distraction.
Yeah.
You know, all we had was the trial, and everybody had an opinion about it. So it was the ultimate water cooler conversation.
Changed TV coverage, that's for sure.
There was a lot of rumors. You know, in March or February, he came out with a video saying, "I am not in hospice care." He put this thing on his own social media. You know, what do you think of that whole situation?
I think he was addicted to fame in any form, and when he got out of his Nevadan jail time, he took to social media to stay relevant, and he craved that. As Caitlyn Jenner said, she said he was the most arrogant, narcissistic person that she had ever met.
Yeah.
All right. I always love getting your opinion on things. Be sure to pick up Nelson's book, Dancing Between the Raindrops.
Nelson Aspin, thanks so much for
Thank
coming in
you.
this morning. Great to have you here.